It's 5:46 in the morning. On my way to the dealer to wax the car. Put the actually it's a special coating, a no wax coating. Supposedly it's gonna protect the car for I think 5 years without waxing it, supposedly. And yeah, that was a free gift from our dealer, supposedly. Free gift to help us want to buy the car. So the only catch was I have to help put it on. So I'm heading out there before my family's awake to put this coating on the car. I don't want it to. I'm tired.
には今月お金入るんですよ。で、引き落としは11月でできるんですけど。2ヶ月後みたいな。わかりました。はい。はい。
Okay, this is my second attempt at making my first impressions video. I actually did it the whole thing, and I didn't lose or anything. I still have it on my computer. I made the whole thing yesterday. However, my impressions. I just started driving the car. I just got it, and 10 kilometers into it, I started making the video, and I didn't change anything, but I had to keep adding. It seemed kind of awkward. Just keep adding more. I keep coming back and adding more. Plus, as you can see, the view is different. I have to be careful with my gut here. So, plus my wife was asleep and shit like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna try again right now. So, even though I have 165 kilometers, I got it when at 45. So what is that? 100. Hang on. So 120 kilometers I put on it. Sorry. 120 kilometers I have put on it since I picked it up yesterday. But that just means I have most of my initial thoughts, hopefully in order, on this car. We'll see. Okay, first impressions are very nice. It's nice having a 7-passenger vehicle. It's big. It's big. It's little on the outside kind of compared to other minivans, but it's big. It is big, and you sit really high. I actually sit higher than a lot of other minivans out there. I'm actually a little bit higher than them. So interesting for a small car, how high you sit, and also it's like the Target. It's very roomy on the inside of this car. Very nice. Ride comfort, excellent for as far as dips. Like right now, I'm going over some potholes and stuff. You barely notice them. It has a very nice, comfortable ride to it. Might be because the extra weight from the extra seats and stuff. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Also, it has only 14-inch rims with big, thick tires that are absorbing a lot of it as well, compared to my Leaf, which is 17-inch rims with low-profile tires, which gives you a harder ride. So, even though this is a van with pretty much a truck suspension compared to the Leaf, it actually has just as good of a ride as the Leaf, maybe if not even better, going over potholes. It really is. It really does cushion the pothole really quite nice in this car. Road noise is definitely more significant than the Leaf. road noise and wind noise, especially when you're, you know, going about 80 kilometers an hour. But it's still a lot quieter than the other, you know, other cars out there. Noisier than a Leaf, but quieter than a regular minivan out there. So those are my first impressions on the ride. I went over. I did all this yesterday, and now I'm trying to remember what I talked about. I like these sliding doors. Everybody's all into buying automatic opening doors and stuff, and our first experience with that was we bought a little K van from, well, I guess it was a van from Honda, the N-Box, and that had both sides. We bought the top of the line model, so both sides were auto sliding doors, and I hated it. I hated those doors. So slow, and just, you have, not only do they have a power sliding door, but they also have an easy closure part to it. So you have a slide thing that the motor moves the door back and forth, but then it has another motor for, you know, sucking it in and latching it. And we had a Mobilio with one side like that, and our Mobilio was, like, we repaired it 3 times. The door was always breaking because of all those motors. In our Bongo, we only have one sliding door, and that wasn't power sliding, but it had the power closing. It would latch the door for you. And that thing was giving us trouble sometimes. So I'm not a big fan of power sliding doors. And this thing doesn't even have the easy closure. It doesn't even have the, you know, things that latch the door for you automatically. It's strictly a manual door. And honestly, I love it. Keep it simple, stupid, right? I think that's what people say. And definitely, I'll never have to worry about that kind of maintenance on this car. I've dealt with it enough on previous vehicles. This car, I'll never have to worry about having to work on the motors, or like a door not closed. Like one time, we were dropping kids off with our black Mobilio, our little Honda Mobilio, and the door just wouldn't shut. And it took all my strength because I had to overpower the motor and just force it shut so we could get to the dealership. It was just a pain. I'll never have to deal with that again, not with this thing. And it's much faster. These doors are so lightweight. It's no different than just a regular car door opening and closing. It's less energy than that even. These doors are lightweight. They're on smooth tracks. It's so easy to open and close. I like it. I love it. So that's a nice feature. Some people might not like that. I personally like it. If they were going to put some kind of power door on a car, I think the back gate would be nice, actually. That one makes more sense to me than a sliding door. My wife's always like, what if your hands are full? It's like, well, if your hands are that full, put something down or get somebody else to open the door for you. Like the good old days. Yeah, well, that's just my theory. What else can I say about this car? I had so much to say yesterday. I'll give some negatives. One negative point, you can see where I'm sitting. The reason why I'm sitting like this is because this thing has like a truck steering wheel on it. It doesn't come out you like this. You have to hold it like that, kind of. Your wrists are in a weird angle. Your arms, it forces your arms. You can see how far forward my arms are just to hold the wheel. I guess Nissan wants you as close to that steering wheel as possible so you have good visibility. That could be why they angled it this way. It is a tilting steering wheel, but not telescoping, and it only tilts a certain amount. It doesn't really change it goes, so your handles, instead of like this, it's like this, but it just goes like that. You know, you're not adjusting the handle's angle, really. So that's a negative. I mean, I'll get used to it, but I'm not a big fan of it. It's not very comfortable. Not very comfortable position to me, but whatever. That's kind of a small pet peeve of mine. Another pet peeve is the plastics on the dash. I understand this is originally a work vehicle, and especially the gasoline version is like dirt cheap work vehicle. But this is, they made this into a consumer model car, and with it being electric, they jacked the price almost to 50 grand. Almost to $50,000, which is, what is that? It's like 25,000 pounds, quid, 25,000 quid, pounds. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a low budget 7-passenger van, minivan. With running costs and stuff, eventually it will work itself out. At the initial cost is pretty high. I got a deal, you know, you do get a little bit of money back from the government, so that helps a little bit. And I got my dealer to come down quite a bit, and they also came, I don't want to go into details, but they made a mistake on something, and I got an extra $1,000 on top just a couple days before we picked up the van. They took another $1,000 off of it to make up for the mistake they made. So I got it down to about $43,000 roughly 43,000 US dollars. Still a lot of money for a van that normally is like $20,000. It's still double what it normally is if you buy the gasoline version. So I feel like the plastics could have been a little bit better. I guess if you don't want to go complete negative, you want to look at the silver lining, if you can call it that. Like especially like the plastic. I don't know. They have that flat plastic around my gear shift knob, the gear selector, and that flat black plastic. It's that cheap type that, you know, you if you have a long fingernail or you nick it with anything like your watch, it's just a permanent scratch now. It's just that cheap plastic. I think you know what I'm talking about. That's gonna suck. It's gonna look like crap in about 2 more weeks probably. It's gonna look so worn out in 2 weeks even. I guess the positive side is, I mean, it can't cost much. It's just cheap plastic. I know I'm dealing with a dealership, right? But it can't cost as much as like if I was to replace the plastic on a higher end, you know, 8-passenger minivan from you know, same company. So it will be a little bit cheaper to replace, I suppose. If you want to try to look at the bright side of the situation on that. Yeah, I'm not happy about the whole dash thing. Another negative I already mentioned was this car was extremely filthy inside and out. I mean, inside terrible. And they did the best they could. Unfortunately, looks like they used like something like Armor All on my dash. Who does that to a new car? Who does that? I'm not a big fan of stuff, especially on a brand new car. And they did something to clean it up because they knew I was upset about that. And I think they Armor Alled my dash already. There's like white towel stuff all over. It's glossy and greasy, and I was like, what? What are you doing? It's like, now first I have dirt, now I have that stuff on top, and they didn't get all the dirt out, not to my satisfaction at all. I mean, especially in the back, they didn't touch the back. I was like doing something in the back, and I put my hand on the side of it, and all of a sudden it was just black. I was like, you guys didn't do anything about it. Well, yes, we did. It's like, hello, and they're like, oh, okay, I thought they did. No, they didn't. So that is definitely a minus. You order a brand new car, how would you like if you bought like a Tesla or a Benz or something? You know, those cars are imports. You know, and you get your German car or your American car, depending where you live, and it's just brand new car, and it's just soot, black soot all over inside, all over. It's in my headliner. Headliner is dirty already, and this kind of headliner, you can't. There's nothing you can do about it, except for replacing the headliner. I mean, yeah, that was a mega negative, mega minus. My instrument panel, the plastic, it's got dirt on the inside. So they wiped down the outside and they got some of it clean, but it is all scratched up because when they wiped it down, they weren't careful. And that soot, they scratched the plastic with the soot, it looks like. And then on the inside, the soot, they couldn't get to the soot. I mean, it looks really old. The display looks old. It looks like this car's been used for quite a while. So it's a negative. That part of the car coming and being that filthy, unbelievable. Other negatives is seat belts. Most cars in this day and age, especially in the 30,000 and up range, have adjustable seat belts. Not adjustable, any of the seat belts, and it just cuts into my neck every time. Oh, it's my light. I'll talk about that. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. So yeah, the negatives on the thing is that's a mega negative on that seat belt, and the plastics they use, like around the kick plates, getting in and out of the car. The plastics are pretty crappy. But I was just talking to my dealer, and yeah, he says they're not that bad to replace compared to other cars. So I guess I can look at the silver lining there, right? Whatever. The navigation system's the same as our Leaf, but I have to say I did notice a picture quality difference. Now it could just be because the angle of it, the way it sits in the dashboard here, it angles up kinda, and that's going to affect, you know, with the viewing angle, it's going to affect the picture quality. I think that might be what's causing it. But the color and the picture seem to be not as good as on the Leaf. That's probably just because of the angle that thing points at. It has a tilt adjustment for tilting up. They don't have one for, like my Kenwood used to, you could tilt in down as well, and that was great for our car we had that unit in. We could tilt it down and made the viewing angle much better, but this one only tilts up, so no help at all. Okay, let's see. I want to talk about the power plug option, but I haven't even used it myself yet. Well, not really. I tried it out with my phone. But this car comes with a 1,500 watt inverter, pretty powerful inverter, and you can use it to power all kinds of stuff. It's meant for, you know, companies to use when they're out. They could use it for doing whatever they need to use it for. Construction sites use it for powering their lights or whatever. But for my purpose, I'm going to be using it for when I go camping and things like that. It's going to be great for that, because it's really cool. You can adjust the how much power you can use from the batteries on it. So if you know roughly how far it is to the charger, the closest charger, you can tell the car to stop using the inverter, to turn the inverter off when it gets to a certain level, battery level on your traction battery. So that's cool. That's really cool. So I already set it up. I set it for 4 segs. When I get down to 4 segs on my traction battery, it'll shut it off and won't allow me to use it. Just because that's a good spot to put it, really. I mean, there's chargers everywhere. I wouldn't need 4 segs to get to the next charger where I am right now. But if I'm camping up in the mountains or something, I probably need 4 segs probably. So that's really a nice feature. I can't wait to show you guys all the all the ways you can use that. Of course, you already know. You already know, really. My kilometers per kilowatt hour on this are slowly going up. I didn't reset the computer completely. So like I said, it came with 46 kilometers roughly on it, already driven on it, and they were driven hard. It looked like they were testing the car out, so it had a really bad low number. It started off like 2 point something kilometers per kilowatt hour when I first got it. I got up to 6 now. It's still going up slowly. I think it's going to top out about 7, because of the gear ratio on this is very different than the Leaf's gear ratio, and the power it takes, of course, because of the weight, and it's not aerodynamic at all. I can't, like on the Leaf, if I really try hard, I can pretty much around town never go past 1 bar. Just keep that bubble in the center and just slowly get up to speed by just doing that, and it's really great for your mileage. This car, I have to be at least 1 bar, 1 over from the center, just to get going and stuff. It's the only way to do it. And then when I get to speed, I can't drop it back down to 0, because it's just, like I said, it's not aerodynamic and it's a big heavy box, so it'll start slowing down. So I have to keep it about 1 bar. So I think the best I'll ever do is 7 on this thing if I'm lucky, which isn't bad, considering we're doing a big car compared to Leaf. Big car. That's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. Power is more than enough. Remember, it has a different gear ratio, so you don't have a top speed even as fast as the Leaf, and the Leaf isn't anything crazy top speed, like 90 miles an hour, right? This thing's at, I think, around 80 miles an hour top speed because of the gear ratio they have on it. It's a low-end gear, very low torque gear ratio, but it also kills your top speed. But it seems fine. I went on the highway, I went 80 kilometers an hour, got up to that speed really quick compared to other cars, and it was cruising along, and it was even doing good mileage. My mileage was going up pretty quick doing that. So yeah, and I had the air conditioning going the whole time yesterday, pretty much. After I did the first segment, with my windows open, but then after that, it started getting hot yesterday. Got to about 32 degrees centigrade. No, it's been a long time since we had that kind of temp. So we used both air conditioners, the front and the back, the whole time yesterday. while we're driving on the highway and stuff, and I was still getting really good mileage. I was averaging about 160 kilometers on a full charge. Not bad, not bad. When this thing is, they give it the best possible mileage available is 185 kilometers, and that's full charge. That's using no air conditioning and stuff like that, going probably only 40 kilometers an hour, probably, to get that thing. And so for me to do 160 using the air conditioning going to highways, this car seems to be fine on range. I think we'll have no problems at all. Any other negatives though? Let me go back to the negatives. Stay on topic. Stay on topic. There are a few, I suppose. One negative I thought was going to be a negative. Turned out it's not bad. The air conditioning, the vents are only on the right hand side for the rear air conditioning. I talked about it before. However, I tried it out and it can get really powerful. It's really cool. It works really well for cooling off in the back area. But those vents, you can adjust them easily enough where they don't touch the person sitting right on the right hand side. So you won't be freezing. You'll be cool, but you won't be freezing. So that is not a negative, it turns out. Yeah. Any other negatives? The seats are a little hard, I suppose, compared to the Leaf, but they are still pretty comfortable. Even the third row, I prefer the third row seats. What I do is I fold up the second row, fold it up, and just use the third row. And the third row seats, they recline better. They recline much further than the second row, and they're big seats because they are not the type that fold up and go underneath the front, the front row or the second row. They fold up to the side, so they're full-size seats. So they're pretty good. They are firm, they're hard, but I think they're about the same firmness as any of my Hondas I've ever owned. It's about that kind of firmness to them, a Honda's car seat. So not bad, not bad. Good support too. So I would say it's just a partial negative. It's not as comfortable as Leaf, but it's not bad at all, really. No. Oh, there is a negative. One more. The right-hand side, left-hand side. Right-hand side, I have plenty of leg room, but the left-hand side, I don't. The floor, the firewall, is pushed in further this way. So and it also goes up. It's kind of angled. It's terrible. I have to give that a negative. The front passenger side legroom is awful. It's just awful. I don't know if they had to do it even with the electric version, or if they don't touch it. They're not going to mess around with that. It's just like from the gasoline version, they just use the same body and everything. So maybe that's just weird. Because the driver's side, your feet can go in quite a ways. The firewall is much closer on the passenger side. Another negative is these really ugly, cheesy power window things. Where the window crank used to be, they covered it with this cheesy power window thing. And I banged my knees on that. It's ugly. I mean, it's ugly. And it just looks really cheesy. That's a negative. That's a negative for a 40 grand vehicle. I mean, this is crazy. There is a positive. A positive is plenty of cup holders. I got 8 cup holders for a 7-passenger van. Lots of cup holders. I got 2 here, 2 here. There's 2 for second row, and there's 2 even in the third row that have cup holders. So plenty of cup holders. That's nice. Lots of little storage pockets everywhere. I like that. It's a positive. I got heated steering wheel, heated seats in the front. Second row does not get heated seats because the seats fold up and everything. So no heated seats in the second row or third row. That could be a negative. I don't know. Maybe not. The original halogen headlights are definitely a negative, but I replaced them with LEDs, and it cost me about $250, I think, or $300 for the LED upgrade. But wow, what a difference! I did some night shots. I put them up. Big difference with the night driving with the LEDs. Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very well done. High beam's interesting on an LED bulb. It just seems to light up more bulbs, so it just gives you even more light like around you, but it doesn't really shoot a beam that much further out, really. But they're so bright, even low beam. How often do you use, like in my Leaf, I have low beam's LED, right? But the high beam is a halogen, and the halogen sucks so bad on it. I never use it. The low beam LED is so bright, I don't ever need to use the high beam, and that's kind of how it is with this car. But I do have a little bit better high beam than the Leaf has on this car. That's cool, only because I did a custom upgrade, but it wasn't that expensive. For the safety, safety value, it's worth it. Now, here it is. This is what I was trying to remember. Your charge port, it's going old school again, and I don't mind that. I don't care. I don't care about having to pull the thing, because it's cool is on my key holder. Instead of having the power access, I have a remote control to my heating and air conditioning, right? You just click it. So in the wintertime, it warms up your car, and in the summertime, it cools down your car. So I can do it from the house, or I can do it from outside a grocery store or something like that. And that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that feature. I don't have to get into my phone every time and do it, especially right now, since I don't even have access. I'm not even hooked up right now, so I have that. I can at least remote control it from my key fob. But one thing I do have a problem with is there's no locks. You can't lock the thing in like the second generation Leafs. They start putting locks in them, so you can lock the charge cable to your port. This car doesn't have that. Once again, I think that's a big minus. So you can't lock the cable to your port, and you also don't have a light. There's no light in this thing. That's an option. It's expensive, like $200 for an LED light to be put in your port access. So yeah, those are definitely negative. That's a negative on this car. So far, that's the negatives I can think of. If I can think of any more, I will update. I'll talk more later. Okay. Let's see. I forgot what I was talking about before I got cut off last time. Let's see. I was talking about the negatives. I think I hit most of the negatives. So let's go on to the positives, what I feel the positives about this car. Obviously, the size. It's big, so you have more room for storage and more room for people. It's going to come in really handy for picking my kids up, being a school bus. It's going to be a great little school bus. And what's great about it, the best thing about it is, we never have to go to a gas station. It'll always. There's been times like in the middle of winter, you know how it is. You go out to the car, you start her up to warm it up, and as the gas gauge is like, oh crap, I didn't allow for time to get to the gas station before I go to work or something. That's what it's like with us sometimes. We won't have that problem anymore. It should be, if we remember plugging in at least at night, it should have plenty of charge every day to get what we need. Also, no warming up. Even in the winter time, you just turn it on and go. That's nice. What else? It's hard to do this because I already did it all. I have to try to remember everything again. I have to remember everything. And another plus is the menu on here. It's so cool. In this menu, you can set it up. You can totally customize. You can customize your menu to how you like it. You know how on the Leaf you have your how long you've been driving. Since I think it's the last charge. How long you've been? Well, no, since you reset the computer. How long you've been driving and how many kilometers, and you have what else is another feature? You have the kilowatts per hour, kilowatts per kilometer. Or is it kilometers per kilowatt? Yeah, kilometers per kilowatt hour. All those different things, and you can turn those on or off, so it shows up on it or it doesn't show up while you're scrolling through your menu. So it's much more customizable for what you feel is important, what's not. You can turn them. It tells you your brake, how much energy you're generating with your braking, and that's I love that. I love that feature. Like yesterday, I made almost 5 kilowatt hours of energy from braking. I was doing about 30% of my range was because of the way I was using the regen braking on this thing. So that's really cool. It tells you that. But you can turn that off too. You can turn off your battery health if you don't really care about seeing the battery health all the time. You can turn that stupid meter off. So it's much more customizable, but it's also got a lot more information than the Leaf. It's available on it. And it's pretty cool. I like that. I do like the display's simple, but it's very informative. Tons of information right there. I like it. It's cute. Really cute display. I like the fact that because it came with halogen headlights, they're adjustable. You can actually adjust them. Now with my LEDs, I can really move that beam around. So I kind of like the fact you can adjust the lights, the angle. I know it's been around for ages, but it's kind of nice to have that. The Leaf doesn't have that. I love the storage here in the middle. The storage console is so cool. You open it up and it'll hold a purse or a briefcase, or other things. It's got tons of storage all over it, including coin storage here. It's got a card holder inside, a secret card holder for hiding your important cards. Not to mention the card holder you have underneath your cup. Now, if you guys are wondering, how do you access your OBD2 on this van? It's right behind that card holder underneath your right-hand side, your driver's side cup holder. Right underneath there, there's a card holder, and you just pull on it, it'll open up, and your OBD2 is right behind that. So, just in case you were wondering, that's where the OBD2 is. I love the back air conditioning. It works great. I have a main power button I can turn on or off from up here, but I also have a knob in the back. You know, 1, 2, 3 or 0, 1, 2, 3 power knob. And let me tell you, 3 is powerful. It's actually quite noisy. It's so powerful. But 1 and 2, not too noisy and plenty powerful for keeping it cool back there. There's no temperature control on it, but I think it's tied into this, because the only way you get the back one to work is if you have the front one turned on. When the front one's turned on, that one's turned on. I think that's how you operate how many degrees you want it to be. Is from here, from the central control up here. But I can also turn it off and on from here, so I can just leave it on in the back, leave the fan switch turned to 1 or 2 in the back, and I can just turn it on and off while I'm driving my kids around the school bus. That's really cool. I love it. I love that air conditioning. Only a 7-passenger model offers that, and we lose a little range because of it. We lose about 5 kilometers of range, roughly, because of it. But they took out the battery, the BMS system, battery cooling system, to make up for that extra weight on the cooler. So it almost works out right. I do wish, that's a negative, I wish this car did come with the battery cooling, but I get it. They were, after the 3rd row seats and the extra air conditioner, they didn't want to lose any more mileage as it already was. So they just pulled that BMS system out, and so on a hot summer day, you'll have to drive more eco-friendly, really, just to make sure you don't have to charge so often. That's fine, well, I guess. I mean, my Leaf is like that. It hasn't given me that much trouble, so it seems fine. Let's see. What else? My family just loves it. They just love all the room. Like, my kids love to sit in the way back. My wife's always in the middle seat, and I'm by myself up here. It just makes the car feel that much bigger when you have everybody in their own little area. It's kind of cool. They like that. So yeah, what else? What other positives are there on this? Oh yeah, another positive. Just thought of it. It's on the Leaf, yeah, I love my joystick on the Leaf. I love the joystick. I hope they never get rid of that joystick. I think it's really cool. Very futuristic looking. I like it. But when you want to go to brake mode, you over down, right? With this car, you're in drive mode. All you have to do is just tap like that, and you're in B mode. And tap it like that, and you're back in D mode. It's that easy. It's so fast. I love it. I love it's at your fingertips, so you have control of all your regen braking. I'm in eco mode right now, so I've got a little extra regen braking. Put it in B mode, and it's super strong. I like that. It's a plus. Because if you got a big vehicle, you've got fully loaded with people or with lots of things in the back, heavy equipment, you put that into B mode, and it just slows down quite well going down hills and stuff. Great for regenerating power. Another cool thing that the Leaf doesn't offer, this has, you can actually turn completely off your regen braking. There's actually a thing in the menu, and you can turn it completely off. I haven't tried it yet, because I don't want to use my disc brakes, but that's pretty cool. I think it's for, like, I suppose if you're on a highway, you could go into the menu, turn that Kaisei brake or the regen brake completely off while you're on the freeway or something, and it would just make it so you can coast further and use less energy in certain areas of the freeway. I like that. It's pretty cool. You have that option. Pretty cool. Oh, it has tons of ports in the front. That's really nice, but just like the Leaf. But they're right there. All those ports, plus a power plug, comes standard. So I have a power plug in the front, I have a power plug in the back, linked to my super powerful inverter. Very nice. What else? The positives. Yeah, the positives, I think I hit them all. I have to say I like the color too. I was worried Never saw this color for real until that one day I took a test drive in Yokohama, and it did make me feel better, you know, outside, you know, in the outside light. And now that we have our own, I like it. It's growing on me even more now. You know, we chose this color because it's mainly our school bus, our business car. We like black a lot. But two things about black, you know, scratches and dirt show up really easily, and also doesn't look very, for business, especially for school bus, doesn't look very good. Didn't want to go white. That's a pain in the rear end to keep clean, and everybody's white over here. So we had this color pretty much, either this or silver, and I'm not a big silver fan. Silver can look good on certain vehicles, but on this car, it looks like a construction truck in this color. It doesn't look like a school bus. So I'm really happy with the blue. The blue is really pretty. It's a really nice blue. Yeah. So there's the positives. So first impressions so far is that. I don't want to go too much in detail because I've got in a few more weeks I'll probably be doing an actual owner's review of the car. But first impressions, those are my negatives and positives about it so far, what I've seen. And yeah, first impressions are the range seems okay. We'll know for sure until I really get to try it out really, really well. Just think about traffic lately. Yeah, I just can't wait to try it out some more. Really try it out for work. I really want to do it for work. See if it works as good as I think it's going to for work. And yeah, that's it for today, or that's it for now actually. And thank you for watching this, hopefully brief for the normal video. So I'll see you again soon, and hopefully the next one will be a drive.